retro review time. This guy right here, Mcfarlane Toys, back in the day from, this is I think 1995 or 1996. Will's Portasio's Wet Works. This is Vampire. Okay, so backstory on this guy right here from my point of view, okay? I was really into comics pretty much all the way up until right around the time that this figure and this line of figures started coming out. Started to get rid of my comic books. I was 18 years old, started to get rid of all the toys I had, all that kind of stuff. But this guy came out and he just looked so cool that I had just really, really wanted him. And I never bit the bullet and actually bought him. And from time to time, over the years, last 25 years or so, he would pop up and I would see him somewhere and I'd be so close to picking him up and then I never would. And I had almost forgotten about this guy. And then he pops up one day in my recommended feed from eBay. And somebody was selling him with free shipping for $14.99. And I thought, you know what? I'm never going to beat that. Let me just pick him up. It's in the package. Look, the package is not great. You know, again, this is 25, 26 years old. It's got issues, right? But it's there. It's complete. It's sealed for the most part. The glue's starting to come apart from the package a little bit. But, I mean, it's there. And I've just always thought he was just the coolest looking figure that had come out, like, in the 90s. And I had to get him. I had to get him. So, we're going to crack him open today, and we're going to see what he's like. I do not expect this thing to hold up articulation-wise. I know it's not going to, but yeah, I'm just going to pose him on my shelf, so I'm not really that worried about it. I just want this guy looking cool on my shelf. So, let's crack him open and see what we got. Alright, man, so here we have him out of the package, and I gotta say I'm really happy. It looks great. Now, before we get too much into that, we'll look at what came in the package with it. First up, we have this little crown piece, which I probably won't use, but who knows, we'll see. Just kind of fits over his head behind his ears. And then, of course, we have his spear axe thing. So, there you go. It's got some red accents on it. Looks like a cross between medieval and, you know, futuristic and whatever. Cool, right? Cool. Now let's get to the figure itself because, yeah, I really like this guy. You know, so he's got the faux hair on there, which is a nice touch. It really does stand out and make it look cool. The sculpt is fantastic. Okay, I mean, really, really well done. We're not going to get really into articulation on this guy because, honestly, he doesn't have much. He's got basic shoulders, wrists, head, hips, elbows, and then nothing at the waist or anywhere else. So, basic articulation, but again, 1995. But honestly, guys, if you look at this sculpt, I mean, just the fact that you can see the, like, cybernetic parts underneath the armor on the legs, the rips in the pants, the skin texturing, the veins, you know, the blood on the shoulder from where he got bit, the detail in the hands. I mean, it's just so well done. And then in addition, look at that face. I mean, the face looks amazing. The sculpt is fantastic. And then again, the hair, the fact that it's not just a molded chunk of plastic, like, really just kind of adds to the brutality of just the way this guy looks. And I think the sculpt is just fantastic, man. Like, really, I mean, even with the treads on the bottom of the shoes, you know, it's great. And the good thing is he's tall, he's thin, and he's got huge feet. So, unlike a lot of other Mcfarlane toys out there, he has no problem standing up because he's very bottom heavy on the feet. So, I mean, sculpt is fantastic. Paintwork is really, really good. Could be a little better. You could add some shading in there on the veins and stuff like that. Maybe paint the claws a little bit. But other than that, I mean, it's really well done, especially for a mass-produced figure. Again, articulation is lacking, but, you know, again, this came out in 1995. it's just a great figure, and the fact that you can pick this guy up for under 20 bucks, I mean, come on. It's a great figure. So let's go ahead and throw him up, compare him to some other figures out there, some more modern figures, and see how he stands up to them. Okay, so the first figure I have to compare this guy to is this Mcfarlane Toys Fortnite Werewolf figure. I don't remember if that's his name. He's Wolf Man something. I don't know. I don't play Fortnite. I don't care about Fortnite, but I walked into a GameStop and saw this figure, and immediately, the first thing I thought was, wow, this reminds me of that vampire figure back in the day. Just in the sense that it was this cool, like, you know, mythical, evil creature thing. And yeah, I know it's Fortnite and he's got guns and stuff like that, and he's wearing a jacket with a sword and a headband. But, I mean, this has got to be, in my opinion, like the coolest werewolf figure that is out there and available. I mean, it's awesome. It's amazing. It really is well done. There's not a lot of werewolf figures out there, period. Much less good ones, and this one's just fantastic. I mean, it really is. And again, for me, it evoked very much the same level of coolness that this thing did back in the day, which is why I picked him up, just because it looked cool. And of course, this guy, he's got all the modern Mcfarlane articulation, as you would expect. So he's obviously much more enjoyable from today's standards of action figures, but still very much the same feeling between these two. I mean, this guy, if you hadn't said he was a vampire, you could maybe say he was some sort of lichen, you know. You could say he's a werewolf or something like that, a cyber werewolf, but he's not. It's cool. Either way, both very cool, very animalistic, and I'm definitely going to have these two side by side on the shelf together. Okay, so throwing them up against some other Mcfarlane stuff here, this is, of course, the DC Multiverse stuff, the modern stuff. We've got Deathstorm on the left, and we've got Black Adam on the right from the new Black Adam movie that hasn't come out yet. And I mean, this is perfect in scale for these guys. I mean, this will fit in line perfectly with a Mcfarlane display, whether it's with your Spawn figures, your DC figures, or whatever. I mean, yeah, articulation ain't great, but sculpt and paint is amazing, and it's going to hold up against all the modern Mcfarlane stuff that you've got on your shelf. Okay, so for some standard 6-inch scale stuff, we got Marvel Legends here on the left. We've got the 20 years Iron Man, and on the right, we've got the retro Captain America from, what, 3 years ago now? Something like that. And again, these are 6-inch scale versus this thing is roughly 7-inch scale, so looks a little bit bigger, but, I mean, even so, if this is a bad guy, he's a weird vampire or werewolf or whatever you want to say he is, he could certainly get away with fitting in a 6-inch display as just being a bigger kind of creature of the night or whatever. So I think it works with this no matter what. Okay, so lastly, let's throw them up against some imports here. We've got a Figma Captain America from the first Avengers movie on the left, and on the right, we've got an SH Figuarts Captain America from Endgame. Both movie figures, and obviously he's a lot taller than him, but again, because he's like this creature thing, I mean, I think it works. I think you could pull it off. So if for whatever reason you wanted to put these on a display together, I think it works. I really do. Okay, so here we are. Just going to talk about price and then my final opinions here. Price-wise, again, I picked him up for 15 bucks. Okay, over the years, I've seen him floating around 20 to 30 in package, sometimes under 20 out of package. Maybe I just got lucky at the $15 mark, but maybe look around. Maybe you'll find it like I did. But again, even if you pay 20 to 30 bucks for this guy, the thing's over 25 years old. You know, this is a retro figure that somehow manages to, in every way with the exception of articulation, it manages to hold up to modern figures in sculpt and paint. And I know I've said that a lot, but it's because it's true. This is a cool figure, and you can still get it for a really good price because there was a ton of them made. And for whatever reason, it just really hasn't become highly collectible for anybody, really. And I think that's a shame. I mean, I'm glad that I was able to pick one up really cheap, and you can too, but I think this figure definitely deserves more love than it's gotten. And hands down, I think this absolutely would be a great addition to your collection.